So let's focus our attention on our very first conversation tonight. And it's about the leadership of the 10th National Assembly. There's been a whole lot of talk about who gets what, where does the presiding officers come from. We've not even started talking about the principal office, because where the presiding officers come from will also dovetail in affecting who the principal officers are. Now, you all know that in the Senate, there's about 70% of new lawmakers and 30% of the old ones who will be returning. Similar thing is playing out in the House of Representatives. But one thing that is really very disappointing is the representation of women in both chambers of the National Assembly, and it looks like the figures are quite not pleasing, especially in the 9th National Assembly. It dropped from what we saw in the 7th, 8th National Assembly. But in the House of Reps, we've seen only one time that a woman led the House of Representatives. That is Honorable Patricia Ite. And you all know how that panned out. It was somewhat a very dramatic political scenario that played out in our time. Can we have another woman speaker to run the affairs of the Green Chamber of the National Assembly? In all of the names and faces that were put forward on your screen in the past weeks, perhaps let me remind you of those who have put their hand or thrown their hat in the ring for the speakership of the 10th National Assembly. Let me remind you of some of them, including the Deputy Speaker of the 9th Assembly, Honorable Idris Wase. A 42-year-old lawmaker from Plateau State, Honorable Yusuf Gagdi, Honorable Betara, Honorable Sani Jaji, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, Honorable Sadu Soli, and Benjamin Kalu, Abraman Olawi from Kwara, and the woman in the race, Princess Miriam Onuoha from Imo State. She joins me live here in our studio to talk about why she wants to be the Speaker of the 10th National Assembly. Thank you so much, Honorable, for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much, Sean, for having me.
It's audacious, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
You are the only woman in that race. And I must applaud you tonight, and many Nigerians should applaud you, because there is a little representation of women in the National Assembly. I get so excited when I see a woman come on the program. I have majority. The similar thing that is happening in the National Assembly, there isn't so much representation of women on my program. This is what politics is looking like in Nigeria. But congratulations for taking the bold step.
Thank you.
Do you think a woman can be the next speaker?
Yes, I think that a woman can be the next speaker. And invariably, that I can be the next speaker of the 10th House of Representatives, because I have prepared myself. I have followed through with the right knowledge and enablement, requirements to be the Speaker of the House of Representatives. I have been a member, an active member of relevant committees of the House of Representatives to tutor myself with the right ideals and tenets to run the House of Representatives. So yes, I do qualify. I have the requisite educational qualifications to make the House of Representatives in the first place. And don't take it for a ride that I'm a woman. I survived the labor tsunami.
In the East?
In the East.
Southeast.
I fought men, and I defeated them, and I'll do it again here. So it's not, I'm not coming from the point of weakness. It's just that I'm a woman, but that doesn't take away my strength.
I always say this, madam, that I remember in my secondary school days, even at the university, women give us a run for our money.
I know.
In the classroom.
I did.
Yeah, and I imagine there was, in fact, one graduation ceremony that I saw, I think it was at Babalola University, where out of almost 100 or so graduates, almost 29 or 19 of them had first class, and all of them are women.
That's it.
And so I'm saying, if there are women who are excellent academically, why don't they come into the fray on leadership issues? And that's why, for a moment, when I heard about you, I was very curious. And I saw a press conference when you said all the men should just give this to you, and they should just, what language did you use there again?
Support me. Step down.
You said they should step down.
Respectfully, because I have stepped down for men. over the years, in my journey through the political ladder, I've got to consult with leadership of political parties and whichever party I belonged to at the time I ran. By the way, I've contested elections from 2011, seeking for this same office. I ran and lost 3 times. Not that I wasn't strong enough, but because some instances I was mandated by the system to step down. And I think that it's just about, it wasn't done with the hammer. I was persuaded to do that.
So
in
you
the
paid
interest,
your dues?
I've paid my dues, and it's all about give and take.
So
and it's just an appeal.
Being a speaker, does it mean about, is it all about paying your dues? Isn't it about capacity? Because I was asking you about the motions. What have you done? Do you have the profile? Do you have the, have you put in the work in these 9th Assembly? And some of the bills that I saw, you are from Okigwe North, you're representing Okigwe North in Imo State, and I saw some of the bills that you have proposed and some of the motions that you have moved on the floor. Quite interesting motions that you have moved. But then the question is that people will be asking, it's not about, for some of us who, when we hear women in leadership, we're very excited because there is not so much of you. But the question is, it's more than the emotion of the gender issues. It's about capacity. Do you have what it takes to lead a male-dominated House of Representatives?
Thank you very much. I am coming from a private sector background. And by the way, I had my BSc in estate management from the University of Lagos, and I ran a private logistics business, which was male-dominated. At the time, my first office was at number 9 Jibo Ikorodu Road, Jibo. And everybody who knows about Korea can attest to the fact that it's only men who run that business. I survived and I made it until I moved into the facility management business. So it's not a new trend for me. Upon coming into the House of Representatives also, I assumed the office as the pioneer chairman of the House Committee on Disabilities. And this office has afforded me the opportunity to be the one to actually design the framework for the implementation, working with the Disability Commission on the implementation of the Disability Acts. And you can see for yourself in the investigation I carried out on alleged discrimination against passengers with disability. A case in reference will be Chike Okogu, who was harassed by Dana Airlines. If you go to the airline, the major airports, now there are disability desks. I've also investigated their rights with the banking, financial inclusion for persons with disability, and a whole lot of others. I chaired the ad hoc committee for investigation of the alleged breach of a procedural requirement in the sack of NSITF staff, where my leader, Ngige, was brought in as the Minister of Labor, and my committee worked around it. You could recall there was a face-off between my guest and my honorable colleague, Faleke, where the joke that came, I am a Mushi boy, and you're a VI boy. It was my committee. I was able to conduct that proceeding with utmost sense of dignity and responsibility, and making sure that I got the real information needed to get the report for the House working. That assignment was given to me in about 6 months of my being a member of the House of Representatives. I also became the ad hoc committee deputy chair for the investigation of the relocation of tank farms in residential areas. That is a high capacity assignment.
You
which I
moved
did.
these bills, madam.
Yeah.
7 of them that I've seen here. Federal Medical Center, Okigwe, a bill for the act to amend the Legislative House Powers Privileges Act. A host of that. How many of these have been passed?
I have 3 bills that have been passed to my credit. They've been they've just been concurred by the Senate. Okay. So I'm waiting president's assent.
In the Federal Character Commission Act bill that you proposed, what were exactly for amendment? What part of that bill, that act, did you propose to amend?
Well, I felt that that act only talked about inclusivity by way of geopolitical zone. There has to be balance in the share of opportunities and openings in federal employments and appointments. I thought that was not enough because there was no inclusion for persons with disability. And by the provisions of the Disability Act, it is mandatory that 5% employment quota be reserved for persons with disability. So I thought that it would be a good idea to infuse that also in the Federal Character Act to make it all-inclusive and not be a loophole.
Through?
It's still in process.
What stage is it now?
It's at the second reading stage. Yes.
So you also are
and
thinking...
also proposed the Disability Act Amendment Bill to make it include the Disability Trust Fund so that we can have enough money to manage the rights and welfare of persons with disability. Over 35 million Nigerians live with one form of disability or another. I've sponsored a bill also for inclusion of sign language interpreters in live plenaries so that Nigerians with visual impairment could be a part. I mean, it's a global practice, it's of global standard, and I don't think Nigerians should be left aside. Interesting.
So, one of the bills that is predominant on the list of your work as a legislator is Federal Medical Center Establishment Bill in Okigwe.
Oh, yeah.
That is your constituency.
That is.
Has that also gone through?
It is one of the bills that are awaiting President's assent.
So you want to give back to the people of your constituency?
Yes, because the bill actually comes... Okigwe is an old provincial headquarters of the Eastern region. I'm sure you've heard about it, FGC, Okigwe. A lot of your friends might have graduated from that place. And it still has remained backward because we lack basic federal amenities, infrastructure, and federal presence. Owing to my being elected in the House of Reps, my people say that I have raised the bar of leadership and reformed capacity in governance by trying to draw attention of the relevant government agencies to the need to fill in these development gaps, and that is one of it. There was an incident, if you recall, after I was elected, shortly after I was elected, a security detail attached to one of the guests shot his principal, and that led to my motion on the need to ban indiscriminate shooting of security personnel in social gatherings. Because apparently he didn't know that. It was a motion.
It was a motion, yes, but...
The resolutions have been in place. They were sent to the right security agencies. You know our job, and that's why the legislature is also handicapped, because our work is to make the laws and then pass resolutions. And coming as the...
oversight functions.
Perform oversight function. Coming as the next Speaker of the House of Representatives will mean that I will increase legislative, executive dialogue and relationships to ensure that the resolutions of the House don't just become a sheet of paper or tissue paper in the drawers of the executive, because they will see the need to establish this. So where that incident occurred, just around my vicinity, we lost that young man. And it was very painful, and I came to the House in tears. It was the next 2 days I was sworn in. And I said part of what I'll use to sort that, because the problem, the need in leadership is identifying a problem, taking advantage of the fact that you can deploy legislative tool to cure it. I thought that this would be a veritable idea.
So let's talk about, I mean, I'm interested in the work itself, and that's why I'm taking you on one after the other on some of what you have done.
Okay.
But the question is, do you have a vision for the office of the Speaker? Should you be elected Speaker?
Yes, like I always say, my vision to be the Speakership of the 10th House of Representatives is to present myself that I've come with fresh ideas and innovative solutions to tackle Nigeria's overlapping and ever-growing challenges, such as a dwindling economy, threats to our national security, deepening or widening gap in our nation's cohesion, so that I'll design a legislative agenda that is workable, that is implementable, that is proactive and prompt to deal decisively with these challenges and as they emerge, and so that we can create an environment and a Nigeria where we help to formulate laws.
I see one of the things that you want to do is to digitize the rules and the processes of lawmaking.
Some business committee.
So it comes to also voting. Because Nigerians have always asked that they want to know how lawmakers vote in very crucial bills. Is it part of what you hope to do?
Yes.
That means amendment of the standing rules of the House.
Exactly. Not just that, with regards to listing of bills and motions in the House, my goal and the outcome is to have a perfect and effective record management system. Digitizing is to ensure that we have less friction amongst members, because we all represent 360 federal constituency. Everyone is striving to ensure that your constituency has a voice. And in doing that, sometimes we have bills and motions that cut across. And if we have an effective listing and business management system, it becomes a lot easier.
So it wasn't about transparency because of the Nigerian people, not because Nigerian people should be able to see what you guys are doing, because, I mean, you've heard about open NAS.
That is the first thing.
How would the people in your constituency and Nigerians at large be able to know in real time what lawmakers are doing on the floor?
Shehu, you are stealing the snippets from my press conference, and you know that I have said it yesterday. Your reporter was there, and I threw it live.
Absolutely.
That I am running an open governance system where I'm opening the Nigerian National Assembly. I'm giving it back to the Nigerian people. It belongs to them. And we have something you can call like an open day, where Nigerians of all shades and profession will come and send in their opinion. Because lawmaking is about taking the interest and opinion of your people, of citizens and the nation, to put it into bills that will solve the needs of the people. So that is what I'm doing. Feedback mechanisms will be set up so that Nigerians own the bills.
I hope your colleagues will like this. I hope your colleagues will like
bill-making process.
Politicians don't like to be transparent, unfortunately. I mean, I don't pass judgment, but that is an observation.
Is that what you think?
I'm saying. No, that's what we know. That's what we see. That a lot of the times there's a lot of opaqueness in the activities or in the politics and in governance system. And I'm hoping that there won't be any form of agitation, of stumbling block in this vision that you want.
I am someone who understudies a system when I come in. And that's the first thing I did. I sample opinion.
So is it very popular?
I practically have enrolled myself, by myself, in committees so that I'll be able to find out how those committees work and be friends with more members and seek their opinion, sound them out. Members want a house that is transparent, and I'll give it to them. Right. Nigerians desire to have a National Assembly that will be transparent.
So I'm just
if you open the National Assembly,
if you are ready,
you reduce the assumptions and the wrong assumptions of the general public.
The possible face-off that you might have on this, if this is popular amongst your colleagues. But let's move to the issue of politics.
With conflict resolution. I do peace building. It's my job.
All right. We'll see how that plays out. Let's talk a bit more about politics quickly. If you are elected, you'll be the second woman after Patricia Ite to lead the House of Reps.
Yes, that sounds nice. And that will be the fact.
And that's going to be possible.
That will make me become the jinx breaker, ultimately. It will spur more women to participate more actively in politics.
You're up against some heavyweights, like the Deputy Speaker. How do you convince them? Or how do you convince your colleagues, most of them that are new members, that Miriam Princess Onuoha is the right person for the job?
Well, I have offered...
Because this is about election of your colleagues.
I have offered myself because I come across as the bridge between the old members and the new members. And I've been talking to the new members as well as the old members, and I've got their buy-in. You see, election and voting processes and campaigning and lobbying are things you don't do in the open. I have my strategies to my chest. I have my strategies which made me survive the labor tsunami despite all odds. I have come through so many tough situations, and I've won. If I set my eyes on a thing, I achieve it. I am a target-driven person. I am highly focused. I'm meticulous. But I am also an inclusive person.
If you don't get the speakership, would you opt for something else?
Well, I'm in the race for the Speakership of the House of
And
Representatives.
that's what you want.
I need to change the narratives about the wrong perspectives of women in governance. I need to inspire some young women and young girls who are studying to become the best of what they can be in their career. If I don't do this, then it might just be that you study and graduate from law school. You already know, because I'm a woman, I would not own the chambers. If the Constitution has not put a limit on what a woman can be, then I won't limit myself.
What about the zoning principle that seems, for now, doesn't look in the favor of the Southeast for the Speakership of the House?
Well, I think everything everybody is saying right now about zoning is a speculation. And I'm not in the race because of the zoning factor. I am here and I've offered myself to serve the Nigerian people and offer them robust and dynamic leadership that answers to the current realities of the time. Nigerians want policies that will put food on the table.
Honorable,
rejig the economy.
What has your region, your state, offer the APC? Because that is a question some members of your party will be asking if they are considering other regions of the country. Why go to the Southeast for speakership?
I think that would be a very wrong question to put to me at this point. Mr. Sheung, the Southeast has remained solidly within the APC. I've been a solid member of the All Progressives Congress.
You have 5 states in the Southeast,
Of course, and we have been working. Politics is local. We have been driving the affairs of the party. I put my billboards in the Southeast, running a campaign alongside Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for instance. I know the backlash that I got from the people. Yet I was able to garner over 44,000 votes for myself and for the presidential election.
Your party lost the election in your state in the presidential election.
APC lost in Lagos.
Even in your region.
It's not about my federal constituency won. I delivered. And I have evidence. My people love me and they voted because they didn't want to take a chance of voting another party. We love this woman. She has raised the bar. She has touched the lives of the people. She has redefined legislative engagements. I have brought participatory governance to my people, politics of inclusivity. And they said, we cannot stand that, take the risk. And they voted me all through. So you want to say that I will not compete and contest alongside other candidates who might not even have delivered? How do you put that? And Southeast is not the only zone who didn't come up as expected. In the North as well, where you had a lot of inroads from the NNPP. So I think it's all about building the nation collectively, irrespective of these tags that tend to set us apart. And these are some of the things I would work against. I'm of the new generation, I'm of the new wine, and I'm the new order. We don't want to bring tribal or religious sentiments and these talks that tend to divide us. I am a woman. I come in peace. And I bring the warmth that comes from the heart of a mother.
Because politics sometimes
to cheer the nation. It has worked for me.
I'm saying politics sometimes is war.
When it's time to do war, I bring the war part of me, and that's how I get into the house. When it's time to be a woman, I be the woman.
So we should not try you.
You don't try me in this contest.
You have the fire, you have the water.
But I'm doing all of this in humility, and all I'm doing is an aspiration. It's not really a competition. So you are the underdog
that the big wigs should be weary of.
I tell you, Mr. Sheung, I have over 200, or about 198 members whom I have talked to, and I've got their ultimate buy-in in my kitty. Politics is not about making noise.
Finally, what is your final thought? What would you be saying to some of your party leaders who are watching right now and some of your members who do not believe in you just yet?
Well, like my legal colleagues will say, Recipsa Loquito, the thing speaks for itself. Need you ask? You have seen me, you have heard. A lot of people have been drumming support for Princess Miriam Odinaka Onuoha. But here I am. I've exposed my background, my qualifications, and my rankings. I'm a ranking member and coming with a position of strength to assume this office. And I'm sure that anyone who knows me from my humble beginning will tell you that I am very, very focused in achieving what I set out to do.
Honorable Princess Onuoha, a member representing Okigwe North in the House of Representatives of Imo State. Thank you so much indeed for your time. And I wish you the very best in the race. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.